Over the next 2 weeks, we will be deepening our analysis of media representations by showing how particular film and photography techniques can convey meaning. We will also be considering the way in which the use of these techniques may reproduce, draw attention to, or even challenge unequal power relations between groups in society. So we're going to be going beyond looking at just the content of media to think more about how that content is presented to us via specific formal choices. This week, we'll be looking in particular at techniques shared by still and moving images. In the first two videos, you'll be introduced to some of these techniques via analysis of film clips. In the third video, you'll be shown how an understanding of these techniques can help us to analyse the way in which a range of other media images make meaning. And in the fourth video, you'll be provided with a case study, combining consideration of a number of these techniques in the analysis of one image. So what kinds of techniques are we talking about then? Well, in this video, we're going to look at the use of setting, costume and makeup, and lighting. The settings used in film and photography may be real or constructed, but either way, they can carry connotations. For example, the opening of the film Black Panther shows children playing basketball in a parking lot next to a block of flats. It's a real location in Atlanta, doubling as Oakland in 1992 in the film. Such a location has connotations of low-income housing projects, and this emphasis is accentuated by the makeshift basketball backboard and hoop made out of a warm piece of wood and a plastic crate. This stands in contrast to the digitally constructed setting of the fantasy African country of Wakanda. Its sleek and futuristic cityscape gleaming in the sunlight and situated amidst green hills. This connotes the natural and economic wealth of Wakanda, and the disparity between the inhabitants of Wakanda and the African Americans of Oakland becomes a central plot point in the film, as well as making us think about the real-life deprivation of African Americans. If the setting in Black Panther is being used to draw attention to inequalities within and beyond the fictional world of the film, other techniques may reproduce inequalities through the choices that are made. Costume and makeup offer a range of creative possibilities, but have often been used to sexualise women to a greater degree than men, making them an object of erotic spectacle for the audience. Consider, for example, the outfit of Harley Quinn in comparison to the male characters in Suicide Squad, with her stiletto heels, fishnet tights, tight baseball shirt and red lipstick acting to accentuate the curves of her body and her lips. Of course, makeup also tells us something more about this character, with the running eyeshadow indicating something of the character's off-kilter identity. And the character uses her sexuality to empower herself. But in a wider sense, the use of costume and makeup in this way clearly contributes to the trend of sexually objectifying women to a greater extent than men. The body language used by actress Margot Robbie is also key to this sexual objectification of Harley Quinn, keeping her legs straight and thus her bottom upright while bending over, as opposed to crouching down to get stuff out of the trunk. And it's interesting to think about how body language is also used in still images to convey meaning. But we're going to return to the way actors move their bodies in more depth next week when we look at those techniques specific to moving images. The composition of the frame is also important in this scene, drawing more attention to Harley Quinn by placing her at the centre of the frame. In addition, lighting is used to pick her out and make her glow, with backlighting provide a halo around her blonde hair. This draws upon a long tradition described by Richard Dyer, in which the use of such lighting, in combination with white skin, white clothing and/or blonde hair, gave female movie stars an angelic glow, marking them as especially virtuous and desirable. Of course, Harley Quinn revels in her lack of virtuousness, but the glow of desirability remains, and there are precedents for this in the glow surrounding previously morally ambivalent heroines such as Gilda.
Gilda, are you decent?
Me?
In contrast to these glowing white women, non-white characters have often found themselves trapped in the shadows, often in villainous roles, as in this scene from the original King Kong. This constructs a link between literal and symbolic darkness and returns us to the marking of difference through binary oppositions that we discussed last week, as well as showing how these binaries are inscribed with a power difference that privileges one group over another. A more recent example is this scene from Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, where indigenous Peruvians, tasked with protecting a sacred cemetery, lurk in the shadows before emerging to attack Indiana Jones. The lighting used in this scene is a system that's called low-key lighting, consisting of strong contrasts between the lighter and darker areas of the frame. The system itself is not inherently racist. It's primarily a convention for scenes of horror and heightened drama, but the way in which it may be used to establish racial binaries is problematic. In contrast, Black Panther is noticeable for the amount of scenes using high key lighting, which minimises the contrast between light and dark areas, evenly lighting the central characters and a range of characters in the background. High key lighting is generally used for more upbeat moments in films, and the function of this scene is indeed to partly show the vibrancy of life in Wakanda. But, along with costume and makeup, this lighting also helps to individuate these characters, preventing us from seeing them as a homogeneous, barely discernible other.